Now let's take a look at some of the other main stories here today. And a surfer who survived for more than 30 hours clinging to his board in the Irish Sea has been described as extremely lucky by the Belfast Coast Guard, who saved him. 22-year-old Matthew Bryce was reported missing when he failed to return from a trip off the Argyll coast yesterday. He was eventually spotted on Sunday. He was eventually spotted by a helicopter 13 miles offshore. Our correspondent Chris Buckler is on the Antrim coast. It is an extraordinary tale. Thank goodness he's all right, but it's extraordinary, Chris.
Yeah, it certainly is. Matthew Bryce, as you say, went surfing at a beach near Campbelltown on Sunday afternoon. Just before lunchtime, he actually went into the water. And at that stage, he went out in very windy conditions. He wasn't found until the next day. And when he was discovered, it was miles out to sea, beyond Rathlin Island, which you can see just behind me, somewhere between Northern Ireland and Scotland. And that was after a major rescue operation involving Coast Guard teams, lifeboat teams. They finally found him after a Coast Guard helicopter spotted him from the air. After more than a day drifting in the water, Matthew Bryce was found by the Coast Guard floating miles from land. He was still by the surfboard he left the Argyll coast on Sunday morning, but when he was finally rescued on Monday evening, he was closer to Northern Ireland than Scotland.
The waters around the UK at this time of year are near enough at their coldest. You know, if you go in the water this time of year, just on the beach, you know how long you would want to spend in it. But, you know, if you think for over 32 hours in those conditions, then, it would be extremely debilitating on him.
Search and rescue teams from both sides of the Irish Sea worked together in an effort to find Matthew Bryce, who's from Glasgow, but he's now being treated in hospital in Belfast. The waves in this water make both the Scottish and the Northern Irish coasts a popular destination for surfers. The Coast Guard say Matthew was lucky, but he was also prepared, wearing a wetsuit that may well have saved his life. He was also able to stay close to his surfboard. When he was plucked from the sea, he was hypothermic but conscious, rescued just as evening was approaching, and in the Coast Guard's own words, extremely lucky to have been found. After so long in the water, Matthew Bryce is now being treated at the Ulster Hospital, where he is said to be exhausted but receiving treatment. He's also asked for privacy, but he has also released a statement. He says, "I'm so grateful that I'm now receiving treatment in hospital. I can't thank those enough who rescued and care for me." He describes them all as heroes.
Goodness, thank you very much. That's Chris Buckler there. Thank you.